Hello everyone, Sarah here at Three Little Potters, and I have sort of an exciting video today. Maybe not too exciting. We'll see how this goes. So what I have here is a bucket of micro pearl. I bought the dipping glaze, and I also have the regular container of brushed micro pearl. So my plan here is to check out the question of if you layer a dipped commercial glaze with brushable glazes, will that glaze crawl? And I also want to figure out a lot of combos to do with micro pearl since I now have this big bucket of it, as long as it doesn't crawl. So I have a new advancer shelf, so I'm feeling pretty protected. I'm willing to be a little dangerous and see what happens with all of this. I want to do maybe 10 different combos of layering, and I will include all the results in the end and scattered throughout so that you can see how these are coming together. But yes, will it go all over the kiln shelf or will it stay on the piece? And can you layer a dipping glaze? Let's find out. So I think so that I can keep these sort of separate and know what I'm doing. I'm going to be dipping, all of the small bowls are going to be dipped, and then some of the larger pieces are going to be brushed so that it's easier kind of to tell what did what, and so that we'll know if something's really good or really not good. So, all right. I'm giving a good 2-second dip here. So my theory is that the reason why some of these dipping glazes crawl when they're layered is more of just that they don't have enough time to dry before the brush glazes go on. So I am going to take this little tray of dipped dishes and I'm going to set it in the sun for an hour, or I don't know if I have that much sun left, maybe half an hour, so that they're plenty dry before I start brushing on the glaze, and hopefully that'll be the magic trick. So one of my favorite glaze combos that I saw on the samples on the Mayco color site was micro pearl and green tea. So I'm going to use that on a slightly bigger bowl. I think I'm going to go ahead and repeat the green tea test with the dipped micro pearl as well as this brush-on glaze. That way I should know if there's a difference between the two. So my plan is 2 brushed coats on this. Right now it's just 1. I'm going to do a control here of the brushed, and this is going to be 3 brushed coats. So when I'm using micro pearl by itself, I like to do 3 brush coats, but when I'm layering, the plan is to do 2 brushed coats. So that's our control. I'm going to go ahead and do one on this as well. On some of these little vases, I'm also going to try layering some combos. The inside of these little vases just have a bit of mason stain in a clear glaze, and this is a salmon colored mason stain on these two. And these ones have a Bermuda colored mason stain. I have seen a lot of questions online about people wondering if underglaze is going to show under the micro pearl. So I am literally just going to put some stripes of underglaze on this, and I am not trying to make this look pretty as it has a hole in the bottom, so it's not going to do much for me. But sometimes I'll go ahead and bisque things just so that I have some more testers. So usually when I'm working with underglaze, I'll go ahead and put it on greenware and then bisque it before I put an overglaze on it. But I think we're going to be able to tell from just this method if we're seeing any of this blue through the micro pearl glaze. So once this is dry, I'm just going to go ahead and dip it. Okay. Just some blue lines on a little teeny vase that has a hole in it. And this is the indigo blue underglaze that I'm trying out. All right. All right, I'm gonna get a second coat on this one. I see it's got a speck of something, but I think that'll probably burn out. Oops. Gotta get the spot where my fingers were. Pay no attention to the noise of my husband weed whacking in the background. 'Tis the season. Do a second coat on a couple of these. I'm going to put the third coat on this one, and then that one can go in the kiln. Making sure to get that inside nice and thick so that it's usually can get a little more of that blue crystal if it's thicker. All right, so since green tea was the sample I liked the most, I'm going to start there. So I'm going to do 2 coats over micro pearl. I think I'm going to go just, I don't know how far I should go down. I'm worried it's going to run. I'm going to probably go something like this. I did do 2 coats on this, right? I think I did. Oh, it looks thin in a few spots. Okay. And that was our brushed version. And this is going to be our dipped version. So I'm going to put green tea right over that. And yeah, I'm going to kind of treat this like my studio white and just do 1 layer over the dipped. And then here I'll do a little bit more brushed. This one I'm going to put a little bit of frosted lemon over top. All right, and that's ready for the kiln. Try fuzzy peach on one. Coyote amethyst, I'm going to try, ooh, it's a little bit, it was a little bit firm in there. I'm going to go ahead and try amethyst on top of one of our brushed combos here. I'm being a little bit safe with these. I'm not going too far down. So that will be amethyst over our brushed. And this will be coyote amethyst over our dipped. Okay. These are ready for the kiln. Lavender mist also seems to be one of those really strong combos with micro pearl, so I'm going to go ahead and do a few bigger pieces with this. So I think I'll do the lavender mist on this planter here. My plan is to do 2 brushed coats, and that will be possibly just on this top section here, and let this bottom be just micro pearl. I love testing glazes on planters that already have the built-in drip catch. Makes it so much easier. Okay. Because I'm expecting good things from lavender mist, I'm also going to do a sample on or dipped micro pearl and see if there's any difference here. Based on the look of the dishes that I dipped, I would say the glaze looks to be a little thinner than my brush coats. So I can either have a higher specific gravity for that glaze, or maybe it'll be fine. Purple aster on this dipped one. Just doing that one sort of thick brush coat on the inside. I'm getting ready to do a larger review on Jungle Gems. Who knows, maybe that'll premiere before this video, but I'm going to go ahead and put Jungle jumps all over my counter. No, I am going to put this Tahiti grape on the top of one and see what it does. Although this brush doesn't feel like it's been washed well enough. It's okay. So just putting that Tahiti grape at the top. Not sure how much movement we'll get from it, so just leaving it right there. For my smaller planter, I'm going to use Mayco's Ivy. High hopes for this one. I have a larger container of Ivy somewhere as well, but this will do for now. And I am also going to do a Ivy over the dipped version. If all of these crawl, I'm going to regret that 1/8 of an inch on the rim. Okay, this one's going to go in the kiln just like that with just the one coat. Speckled plum is looking a little thick. Oh, yeah, it's really thick. Okay. Speckled plum has reached a pudding state. I'm okay with that. Sometimes I'll thin them down more, but since I'm just brushing it on, I think it'll be okay. Okay. So this is 2 brush coats of micropearl, and I'm just going to do this one thick coat of speckled plum over it. One of these small ones, I'm just going to go ahead and put Sunrise over that. And that can go in like that. All right, I'm going to try out a few Mayco glazes with this combination too. So this is Ancient Jasper. Just going to do a full single coat here. Cat has some opinions about this one. I'm getting low on test pieces. This one I'm going to put Mayco's Seaweed on. And this is our green tea bowl. Second coat going on the middle here. And then just a second coat on this outside. Okay, and then that is ready for the kiln. And I have nowhere to set it. Okay. This is our other green tea. I'm going ahead and put another coat on the center there. Okay, that one's ready to go. And this is our one, just looking at this, where the underglaze is, I feel like it's not wanting to adhere as well. I think I'm going to just go over and put one more brushed layer right here. All right, and I'm going to put that in the kiln like this. This was micropearl dipped, and it feels like it's a little bit wet still, but I'm going to go ahead. So this is, if one of them is going to crawl, it will likely be this one. We'll try. Okay. And here we have this one, which is the 2 brushed coats of micropearl, and now we're going to have 2 brush coats of lavender mist on that rim. I think I am going to make the micropearl just a little thicker. It only has 2 brush coats right now, and I think there may be a few spots on that outer edge where I kind of have more like 1 coat rather than 2. So I'm just going to touch that up a little little bit. All right, and that is ready for the kiln. This is ivy, and I'm going to do one more coat of ivy on the outside here. All right, and that is all set. For this last soy sauce, I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of sand and sea on it. So just going with that one coat in the middle, pretty generous coat. And if we have crawl spots, I expect it to be right along this edge here where it's the thickest. But hopefully we won't have any of it. All right, last coat of seaweed going on this one before the kiln. Could have let that dry for another 15 minutes, but I'm kind of in a time crunch. The results are out of the kiln, and if you saw my kiln opening video, you'll know that I was really excited when I pulled these out. I just love these results. Micro Pearl has so much potential. I'm so glad that I bought the big bucket of it, and I'm so excited to see how it all comes out in the future, because I feel like this is just the beginning of so many amazing glaze combinations. But let's jump over to the photo table and look at the results up close. Coyote Amethyst over brushed 2 coats of Micro Pearl. And this is Coyote's Amethyst over a dipped Micro Pearl. And this, I would say, was the only one that had a slight surface issue. Teeny bit of a crawl spot there, and just a little bit of weirdness there in the middle. This is 2 brushed coats of Lavender Mist over 2 brushed coats. And this here, I think, is more my fault for not wiping it back. You can see that it behaved well, except in that one spot where largely an application issue. Really, this section here is really pretty along the rim. And so this is Lavender Mist over the dipped version, which is kind of funny because my dipped version has the exact same as my brushed version, where I just didn't wipe it quite back enough on that one. But some just really, really pretty crystal variation there. Yeah, I think those look really pretty. For Mayco's Ivy, I also did a dipped brushed version. So this is our brushed version. This has 2 brushed coats here over 2 brushed coats of Micro Pearl. And then for this one that was dipped in Micro Pearl, it has 1 brushed coat of ivy there. So almost like a rainbow halo around that. Very iridescent, very pretty. And I know I didn't wipe it back well enough. At least they're small, easy fixes to grind off. I think this one was possibly dipped a little bit too thickly. It had Lavender Mist here, and yes, that happened to that one. This was perhaps the most surprising of all of the results. This is the Indigo Float underglaze with a dip of Micro Pearl over it, and then I did go back and put 1 brushed layer of Micro Pearl over the dip of Micro Pearl. That's that thickness difference you can see here. So no crawling, and it's almost that these kind of combined, and I don't know if I would have gotten a different result using the underglaze on greenware rather than bisqueware. So I think I will double check that result again next time with that. And yes, I had such a poor opinion of what I thought this glaze would do that I put it on a throwaway pot, which I now regret since it's very pretty and I wish it didn't have a hole in the bottom. And this is Micro Pearl with Tahiti grape. Right? Where's the grape? What happened? So those jungle gem glazes are definitely not color stable in the same way at Cone 6 that you would expect. And
So I think this is a combo of the Tahiti grape and the micro pearl here. So yeah, small grind. I can see some of the Bermuda got pulled down, but really just not seeing that color from the Tahiti grape. Speckled plum over micro pearl. Sort of interesting, muted, beigeish, purplish. Yeah, you know, I definitely love this any spot where the micro pearl is peeking out. I might think of a way to capitalize that in the future. On the inside of this is a lobster clear. This is Amico's seaweed over micro pearl. It has a very chun seafoam look to it when these two are combined, which surprised me. I would have bet that this was chun seafoam on this face, and I was strangely surprised to find that it was seaweed. So green tea seemed to be a little bit more noticeably different on the dipped version versus the brushed version. Yeah, something in this dipped version definitely leans a little bit more matte and a little bit blue in some places, and that seemed to really emphasize what was going on in the green tea glaze already. I also love it here. This was two brushed over two brushed micro pearl. But yeah, just different. Subtle. But yeah, I do really love that green tea and micro pearl combo. With my glaze firing schedule, this is what my micro pearl looks like. 3 brushed coats in the center there. 2 brushed coats, I will usually not get a purple rim. This is purple aster over micro pearl. Ancient jasper over micro pearl. I find this really interesting, this edge here. I definitely want to try this combo on a cup that has a more vertical surface so that I can hopefully get some of that blue-brown combo a little bit more visibly. Frosted lemon over micro pearl. Really subtle and pretty. Sand and Sea did have a small flaw in it, and I did slop that on. I am not sure if that is a piece of organic matter that burnt out, which is a possibility, or if it was something with my glaze application, or if this is a bad combo to begin with. Just not sure. It is definitely indented. It's smooth on the sides. I'm wondering if it's just organic matter that burnt out, but I will try the combo again and see what we get. This is Spectrum Sunrise over the micro pearl dipped. Just really the edge here, so much potential. And here is Fuzzy Peach. So the floating glazes are just something to really love, but yeah, even better with micro pearl. And I love this because I usually, so here I have Fuzzy Peach over my Studio White and then the Fuzzy Peach over micro pearl. I just think it's really outstanding when you flip it over to have that surprise of something extra on the side rather than just the plain white. I do like both of these color palettes, but I just think it's interesting how much more variegation that the micro pearl brings out than the Studio White. And Sunrise next to them. So before I had started making this video, I had seen on Facebook where somebody had posted some dipped micro pearl examples, and they had all crawled all over her kiln shelf. So I was definitely wondering going into this if I was going to be doing that thing with the dipping glaze mixed with brushed glazes that creates a whole mess on your kiln shelf. I was really pleasantly surprised to see that wasn't the case. The things that I did to sort of preemptively hopefully prevent that was to make sure that the pieces had a long time to dry after I dipped them. So, you know, ideally, if you were dipping and then brushing on top of it, that they would dry for at least 2 hours. Ideally, I dip before I go to bed and then I glaze them the next morning with whatever other glaze I'm going to put on them. You definitely want them to have enough time to sort of evaporate off the water from the dipped glaze so that they can pull in more glaze after that and still have a sort of a good adhesion to it. So yeah, if you're new to micro pearl, I think it's probably one of the best glazes that Mayco makes and definitely worth the purchase. And if you already have this glaze, I hope this gave you some ideas of how you might layer it in the future. I'd love it if you liked and subscribed. Thanks for watching, everyone.